The year is 521 BC. The sun has not yet cleared the horizon over Babylon, the greatest city in the ancient world, standing on the banks of the Euphrates in what is now southern Iraq, a city of legendary hanging gardens and golden temples and walls wide enough to race chariots along the top. And Darius the Great, king of kings of the Persian Empire, gives a single order. By the grace of Ahura Mazda, he writes those exact words in stone, crucify them, 3,000 men, the highest-ranking citizens of Babylon, soldiers, nobles, commanders, their bodies forced onto sharpened wooden poles and left to die in view of the city they dared to take from him. This is the story of the rebellion that shook the Persian Empire to its core, and the brutal, calculated response that made certain it would never happen again. To understand what Darius was responding to, you need to understand how he came to power, because his throne was soaked in chaos from the very first day. According to the Greek historian Herodotus, writing in the Histories in the 5th century BC, the Persian Empire, centered in what is now modern-day Iran, was a powder keg the moment Cambyses II, son of Cyrus the Great, founder of Persia, died under mysterious circumstances in 522 BC without a clear heir. Within weeks, 19 provinces were in revolt. 9 kings rose up across the empire, each claiming the throne was theirs. Darius, a nobleman and former royal bodyguard, moved fast. He fought 19 battles in a single year. He records this himself, carved 330 feet up a cliff face in western Iran, in what we now call the Behistun inscription, the longest trilingual text in the ancient world, written in Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian, so that every traveler on the road between Babylon and Ecbatana could look up and read exactly what Darius had done. By the grace of Ahura Mazda, he writes again and again, I became king. But Babylon was different. Babylon was the prize, and Babylon refused to accept him. The first rebellion came immediately. A man named Nidin-Tubel, a Babylonian, stood up in the city and told the crowd a lie so audacious it almost worked. I am Nebuchadnezzar, he said, son of Nabonidus, the rightful king of Babylon. He wasn't. Nebuchadnezzar was dead. The dynasty was gone. But Babylon loved that name. It meant power. It meant independence. And the people believed him. Darius marched on the city himself. His army was blocked at the Tigris River, one of the 2 great rivers that still flows through modern Iraq today. The Babylonian forces held the far bank with boats. So Darius did something remarkable. He had his men cross on inflated animal skins. Others rode camels holding their weapons above the water. He forced the crossing, smashed the Babylonian army in 2 battles, and captured Nidin-Tubel. The false king was brought before Darius in chains and executed in Babylon. The city was back under Persian control. But Darius had barely left when it happened again. While Darius was fighting wars in Media and Persia, a second man walked into Babylon, stood in the public square, and said the same impossible thing. His name was Araka. He was Armenian. He had no blood connection to Babylon, no claim to the throne, no royal ancestry whatsoever. But he looked his audience in the eye and said, I am Nebuchadnezzar, son of Nabonidus. I am king. And Babylon rose again. This time Darius couldn't come himself. He sent his bow carrier, a commander named Interphrenes, with an army and a single instruction, go, smite that Babylonian host which does not acknowledge me. Those words survive. Darius carved them into the cliff at Behistun, the date of Araka's rebellion, the 25th of August, 521 BC. The date Interphrenes seized him, the 27th of November, 521 BC, just over 3 months. The Persian army arrived, broke the city's defenses, and took Araka prisoner. Now Darius had to decide what to do with a city that had defied him twice in a single year. The order he gave next was not rage. It was not impulsive. It was deliberate, cold, and architectural. 3,000 men, the highest-ranking Babylonians, the nobles, the military commanders, the civic leaders who had twice handed their city to a man claiming a dead king's name. Herodotus records it in Book 3, Chapter 159. Darius destroyed the city's walls and tore down all its gates, something even Cyrus the Great had not done when he conquered Babylon a generation before. And then he crucified 3,000 of its leading citizens. 3,000 stakes driven into the earth, not the crosses Rome would later make infamous, but something older and cruder. The skyline of the greatest city in the world turned into a warning. Impalement and crucifixion were not unknown in this era, likely inherited from the Assyrians before them. But the Persians were among the first to use it systematically, and this was among the largest documented uses in the ancient world. But at this scale, staged in public view, targeting not common soldiers but the elite, the men who had given the rebellion its authority, it was something new. It was a message written not in stone but in bodies. Darius himself records the execution of Araka in the Behistun inscription. Let that Araka and the men who were his chief followers be crucified in Babylon. Not scattered, not hidden, in Babylon, where everyone could see. Did it work? Babylon never rose against Darius again. In the years that followed, he reorganized the Persian Empire into 20 provinces called satrapies, each governed, taxed, and connected by roads so efficient that royal messages could cross the empire in days. He built Persepolis. He launched wars into Greece. He ruled for 36 years until his death in 486 BC. But the Behistun inscription, that monument to everything he had survived and everything he had done, was placed so high on the cliff face that no one standing on the road below could actually read it. Once the carvings were complete, Darius ordered the workers' ledge removed. Nobody could reach it. Nobody could deface it. A king who had fought 19 kings in 1 year, who had nailed 3,000 men to crosses to hold a city, then carved his justification into a mountain and made it literally unreachable. His son Xerxes would later crush yet another Babylonian revolt in 484 BC, proving that the message, even written in 3,000 deaths, could still be forgotten by the next generation. The Behistun inscription still stands today, 330 feet up a cliff in western Iran, worn by 2,500 years of wind and rain, but readable. In 1835, a British officer named Henry Rawlinson climbed that cliff on ropes and copied the text, and what he deciphered helped scholars crack the entire cuneiform writing system, unlocking the recorded history of Mesopotamia. Darius built his monument to last forever. He got his wish. What he couldn't control was what it would eventually teach the world. Not the glory he intended, but the archaeology of a king who understood that power, once taken, is never truly safe. If this story made you think, leave a comment below. What you'd have done standing in that city on that morning, knowing what was coming. And if you're new here, subscribe. We find the story's history buried and bring them back.